Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 6 of the Dungeon Lore series. In this series, I hope to explain the origins of each dungeon in Final Fantasy XIV, and maybe expand on things you might not know. This episode's dungeon is Haukke Manor, the 6th accessible dungeon during the main scenario quests. For a long time, Haukke Manor was used by the Seed Seers of Gridania as a place of meditation and retreat from the outside world. Met with controversy, however, the Seed Seers eventually found a buyer for the manor through one Lady Amandine, a prominent and affluent Duskwite from House Dartoncourt. However, there is little mention on the origins of her house. However, she is presumably of Gridanian origin opposed to Ishgard, as the Duskwites were Elezen who, at the time of the founding of Gridania, chose to split from the main Wildwood clan and dwell in caves, away from civilization and natural light. I just want to note here that after some more research, I'm not entirely sure if Amandine was a Duskwite or indeed a Wildwood Elezen, as there seemed to be a small change in text during a patch which changed the word Duskwite to Wildwood. I will presume she is a Duskwite for this video, however let me know what you think personally. Something very well known about Lady Amandine is that she was extremely beautiful, however very vain of her appearance at the same time. It is said that as time passed, she attempted many sorts of concoctions to keep herself young, shampoos including milk of exotic creatures, and rare brands of coerth and honey. The rumours escalated to the point some people believe she was using the blood of her virgin maidservants in order to fulfill her youthful aspects. Upon arrival of the 7th Umbral Calamity, however, she suffered intense scarring across her body, unable to be simply masked by a growing collection of beauty products. After this, she is said to have received increasing numbers of strange-looking guests, eventually culminating in meeting with a fully robed, masked man, who guided her into partaking in so-called rites of rejuvenation. Still obsessed with her appearance, Amandine turns to a much darker and sinister solution, that of giving away her own soul in order to, as aptly told within the game, save face. Adventurers, off the back of meeting one of the Ascians, are told by Minfilia of the Scions of the Seventh Dawn to investigate the Minion of Darkness by looking into sightings and ongoing investigations elsewhere. After dealing with some unrest in Little Alamigo, denizens of which are feverish to reclaim their land from the Garleans, adventurers are led to the trail of several bodies discovered in the Black Shroud, all of whom seem to have mutilated faces and also seem to be young women, all bearing the same white lily button. This leads us to Ursandal, who upon seeing the lily button presented to him, informs us that it belongs to House Dartoncourt. He also informs us that the bodies being discovered were the result of Lady Amandine performing rituals to attempt to restore her former beauty, and that it fell to Ursandal, once the poor maidens did not survive the ordeal, to dispose of the bodies, and that after the most recent case did he decide to leave Haukke Manor, his former home, forever. He sends the adventurer on their way to deal with, in one way or another, the residents and mistress of the manor, as they are now too far gone to be handled diplomatically. Entering through the doors of the manor, the party sees in front of them a grand stairway leading up to the second floor, sealed by a magical barrier, leading them to follow down the only open direction to the left of the entrance. The party immediately encounters void scent throughout the entire dungeon here, showing how steeped the place is with foul magics. Manor maidservants are plentiful also, perhaps suggesting that some of the sacrifices used for Amandine's sake turned to the void themselves. One thing of note is that considering the size of the manor, the Dartoncourt family must have been known to be very affluent and well connected. Rooms are filled with furniture, armour, weapons and trophies. However, much of said furniture in particular is covered by cloth, indicating that it has not seen proper use for a long while. Proceeding through the manor, opening the locked doors standing in the way, the party makes its way past a room containing many musical instruments, and along the corridor to the Red Hall, where they come face to face with the Claviger of Haukke Manor, otherwise known as the Custodian, a person who holds the many keys for the place. The Red Hall itself presumably was once some sort of ballroom used for gatherings and parties. There is not much of note about this fight. The Void Center itself uses several spells and magical weapons and is defeated as usual. Upon defeat, the Claviger drops the green key, which is used in turn to open the ivy door opposite the entrance to the Red Hall. This door leads to the basement of the manor, which contains several locked cells, as well as the skeletons of several manor servitors, presumably left to die once Amandine began to turn. Following this hall around, the party must open the door to the bottlery, presumably where wine and other drinks were bottled for use in the manor, and pick up the yellow key, used for the Carnation door once again at the entrance of the area. Within the Carnation door room, a manor steward and a manor jester await, also victims of the Voidsent influence spread throughout the building. Within this room are what also appear to be several torture devices, some looking like intricate guillotines, and others like a rack-style contraption. There are also several glowing purple lights within the room, perhaps showing the void-based lighting and influence being used. Upon defeating the steward and jester, a small slip of bloody parchment falls to the floor. This text, written in blood with an apparent arcane feeling, is used to finally break the sealed barrier leading to the second floor of the manor. The only room of note other than the White Hall here is the one at the very end of the corridor, which oddly enough contains a small open fireplace, still lit with a warm glow compared to that of the eerie purple now prominent among the walls. Once the manor sentry standing guard outside the door to the White Hall is injured, he retreats into the hall, leading to a direct encounter with Lady Amandine herself. Awakened by her sentry, she cackles maniacally and attacks the party. The room here is suffused almost completely with dark energy, shown by the deep purple glow within the room. During the fight, Amandine calls several of her maidservants and the manor sentry once more to defend her, while also causing the void lanterns in the corners of the room to pulsate intermittently, causing damage to the party. Upon defeat, she collapses and returns to the ether, ending her gruesome tale. Upon attempting to leave her manor, two robed figures materialise in front of the adventurer, who comments on the crystals, how they give the adventurer strength, also mentioning how Hydaelyn chose well, and that no matter how strong the adventurer may be, they are to be dealt with by the Ascians by any measure. And that brings us to the end of the lore for Haukke Manor, an unfortunately vain Elizin once renowned for her beauty and kindness, lost to the void due to her obsession. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel for more, and I'll see you next time for Brave Flox's Longstop.